Please bow your head with me. Dear God, I want to thank you for this week and the many lessons we've learned. Thank you for the opportunities that have presented themselves to us. Thank you to the American Legion, and thank you to all the staff that has just volunteered their time to make us better. Please help us throughout the rest of this week, going forward, to be more like you. And thank you for all you do for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Take your seat.
Good morning, Boy Staters. You realize about 8 days ago you were driving up here wondering what was going on. That's about 196 hours ago. Have you had a good week? Today's the day we give away the awards. Today we give away the things you have earned, have been given by counselors, and that you have just received from your hard work. It is going to be an epic program today. But first we get to hear from a gentleman who is an epic coach. He is our commencement speaker this morning, and I want you to welcome him well when I get through with this. A 1978 delegate from Marlow, Oklahoma, and a graduate of Oklahoma State University, Mr. Barry Hinson has created an amazing legacy coaching basketball throughout the Midwest. Starting at Edmond Memorial, Coach Hinson has made a notable coaching appearance with Oral Roberts, Southwest Missouri State, and the University of Kansas, to name a few. Most recently, he was hired as a sports analyst at his alma mater, Oklahoma State University. Go Pokes. He is married with 2 daughters and has been a longtime friend of the Boy State program. Please welcome to the stage former Boy State Governor, Mr. Barry Hinson.
That's what I'm talking about. Good morning, Boy State.
No, you said.
What a great honor and a privilege it is to be here. I had the honor and the privilege to wear that shirt. Now, mine's got a lot of holes in it now. Hopefully, I'll have one. Hopefully, they'll give me one before I get out of here today. But that shirt right there, you know what that shirt means? I'm here to tell you right now, they don't invite jackasses to Boy State. There are no invitations to jackasses to attend this event. Congratulations. Congratulations to your parents, to your support group, to the people that surround you. You are here today because of them. Now, I just met with your parents, and I'm here to tell you, 75% of them are going to take you back home today. 25% said they'd like to have just a couple of more days without you being at home. I don't know who those are, but you'll figure it out by the time you get to the parking lot. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a few things that are really important to me. 44 years ago, I got to do the things that you did this week, and I will say this, under my leadership and my government in 1978, not once did they have to call law enforcement to my campus. Who's the governor of Boy State now? No wonder there was an overthrow, and no wonder we had to have law enforcement come in. No, I'm just teasing you. So here's the deal. I want to talk to you briefly today. Give me about 15 minutes, and we got to be out of here. I've been coaching now since 1981. I'm getting ready to enter my 42nd year in college athletics, and I've had an unbelievable career, and I've been blessed beyond measures. But these are some of the things that I've learned throughout my career. Number one, work your ass off. You wouldn't be here unless you had done that. But I'm not talking about just the details that you think that's important. When I say work your ass off, I'm talking about from the moment you get out of bed and your feet hit the ground. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're putting a Pop-Tart in the toaster, it's going to be at level 4 and perfectly brown edges all the way around, because you are going to be a man of detail. When you walk out the door to go to school, to go to work, to go to wherever, you're going to tell yourself that you're going to work your ass off in everything that you do that day. Everything that you have involved in, whether it be your job, whether it be school, whether it be a relationship, but that's the one thing you're going to do. Number 2, pay attention. And we're not doing a very good job of that right now. Our country, our society, we're not doing a good job of that at all. And when I say pay attention, when you get up and you leave and you get out in the world, I want you to pay attention to all the surroundings around you, what's going on. And I want you to learn from those. I want you to pay attention to the youth. I want you to pay attention to the people your age. I want you to pay attention to when you go out, maybe you go to eat and you're sitting in a restaurant. I want you to pay attention to everything that's going on. How do you greet the hostess, the waiter, the waitress? How are you? What is your responsibility? When your food comes back and it's not right, how do you handle that moment and pay attention to how you present yourself at that time? Pay attention to detail. This right here is the fault. I didn't realize it could be used as a microphone until I watched your video, but this right here is the fall of the Roman Empire. Now, I'm not asking you to give up your phone, but I am going to challenge you to do this. This right here, texting, email, is not the way of our world. The best way to communicate someone is right here. Having communication back and forth. I don't do email at Oklahoma State. I just don't do it. I don't do it. If you email me at Oklahoma State and you're in the facility of where I work, I come down and see you. Why in the world would I want to communicate with you electronically when I have the opportunity to come down and see how you personally are doing? And then we can handle the subject at hand. But we can do that back and forth. We have a problem with communicating with people. I tell my players this all the time. I believe this wholeheartedly. I don't care where you go to school. I went to Oklahoma State University, but I was also from Marlow High School. Marlow High School, we had 98 in our graduating class. Stevens County is not one of the most productive as far as population that there is in the 77 counties in the state of Oklahoma. However, there's great people that come out of Stevens County. But I'm sitting here and I want to go to Oklahoma State, and I'm at Marlow. And I decided this is what I'm going to do. This is where I'm going. I had a plan. I'm going to work my ass off. I'm going to pay attention. This is what I want to do. And you have the opportunity to do the exact same thing that I had the opportunity to do myself. Fall in love. Fall in love. Because there's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it. And when I say fall in love, I'm not talking about with your partner. I'm talking about fall in love with what you get to do. For 43 years, I have not once left to go to work. I love what I do. I love everything about it. I get up every day and I'm figuring, I just feel like I'm going to have fun. And if you get out of here and you start to go down a path where you don't love it, you need to stop it and you need to go down the path in which you love. You have to do that. It is just incredible, the feeling that when you go to every day to your job that you're not going to work. There's a difference between going to work and going to your job. Engage. Engage. That's a big deal. I don't care if you're going through a toll booth, if you don't have Pike Pass. When I first got the job at Oklahoma State, I was the head coach of Southern Illinois. I came back to Tulsa. We'd sold our house so fast, I didn't know what I was going to do. And so I went to work at Oklahoma State, but I didn't have a house. So I drove back and forth every day for Tulsa. And I didn't have Pike Pass because I lived in the state of Illinois at the time. I hadn't had Pike Pass. And until my Pike Pass came in, I had to stop at the toll booth every day. And one of the things that I made myself remind myself and make myself do, that I was going to have a communication with that lady or that person, that man, every single day in the toll booth. Can you imagine how great that job is? Taking money, giving receipts back and forth all the day, do you think they would remember somebody that would say, hey, now those earrings, I like them. Where'd you get them? Just 15 seconds, a little bit of communication. Try to make their day. I don't go through a drive-through, or a bank teller that I don't talk to them. I talk to them. Now, they may think I'm crazy, but we're going to have a conversation. If I get on an airplane, for the last 28 years, you do not want to sit next to me on an airplane because you are not going to sleep. You're not listening to your beats. You're not watching a movie. You and we're going to have a conversation. Because you know what happens in those conversations? You learn. And in 28 years ago when I started this, my philosophy was when I got on a plane, before the landing gear hit, I would ask that person, what's the best thing you do? Now, you can't imagine how much I've traveled. I'll tell you how much I've traveled. Marriott presents levels of travel to how many times you stay in a Marriott hotel. I am titanium, platinum, lifetime. I didn't even know that existed. I don't have to pay for a Marriott hotel for the rest of my life. My grandkids will stay at Marriott if my points could pass on to them. But when I travel, that's the one thing I do. I try to meet people. I try to talk to them. One of my greatest stories is I'm traveling, and I sit down to the lady, and she's kind of hot. Just going to throw that out there. But she comes in. She's on her way to Nashville or back to Nashville. She's been at her sister's wedding. And I said, same thing. Right before the landing gear came out, what's the best thing you do? And she said, let me think about that. She said, you know what it is? I spot talent. I spot talent. And then I looked right at her because I've got a little bit of wit. And I go, well, what do you think? Didn't really ring a bell with her at that time. And I said, well, give me an example. She said, I followed this group for a year and a half. I told my boss this group's going to be good. I promise you they're going to be good. And I followed them for a year and a half. My boss said, they're not ready for this. They're not ready for 3 people. This country music's not going that way. And she said, finally, my boss signed them to a contract, and I think they're going to be big. And I said, what's their name? And she said, Lady Antebellum. Now, how do I hear that story? How do I know? Unless I sit there and I talk to that person. I hope that this entire time, when you're doing that and you're engaging in people, that you figure out and you learn from the conversations that you have with them and the mistakes that they made, that you figure it out. Mistakes. Make a lot of mistakes. Because that's the only way we learn. When your mother and fathers over there in that building were raising you and they told you to not touch that stove because it's hot, or don't pick up that log because it's hot, or don't do this, and you went ahead and did it, you learned at that point in time, I shouldn't have done it. When you leave here today, I'm going to give you a homework assignment. I want you to do this. You're here for the last 8 days because of someone or somebody or a group. And you've got to ask yourself, who's in that support group? Who's in that support group? Is it a counselor? Is it a teacher? Was it a coach? Was it the American Legion? Who got you here to Boys State? Part of it's going to be your mother and father or your grandparents, aunts and uncles. But here's what you're going to do. When you get home, before Monday, you're going to write thank you notes to each and every one of those people, handwritten, not an email. You're going to write it. You're going to put it on an envelope. Do they lick? They don't lick stamps anymore. You're going to pop a stamp on there, and you're going to send that off because there's no greater appreciation than a sincere thank you. I challenge you to do that when you get home. And you need to write your local post and tell those gentlemen of that post that served that flag and served that country and served that state, you need to write them a thank you note and tell them what this meant for you this entire week. I'm going to issue the last challenge right here. We got problems. And I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you that when you leave here today, that you take care of the problems that are going on in our country right now. Can you fathom being in the doctor's office this week and not going home? Can you fathom getting that phone call? Can you fathom going to med school at Harvard and you can't go home and be with your family? Can you fathom being in the 4th grade and just sitting there and having a great day at school? Can you fathom grocery shopping? I don't have all the answers. I won't get it. I won't get in the political part of it because I can't stand when people politicize what's going on. But I do have one answer. When I go back and I talk about pay attention. When you go to school and you start back to school your senior year, you pay attention to the people in your class. You are the leaders at your school. And you will not allow anybody to be mistreated, to be bullied, to be made fun of, because it's on your watch. These gentlemen, these red shirts that have worked here all week, they've stood watch for this country. I'm asking you right now, as a Boy Stater, to stand watch in your community, to stand watch for your country and for your state, for your community and for your school. And when you see it, you stop it. We don't allow it here. We don't treat people like that. Here, at this high school, this is what we do. I want you to wake up every day as a challenge, and I want you to tell yourself, you are going to stand watch for what we believe in. And you're going to be kind to people. You're not going to be tribal. We have become a tribal society. We've gotten involved in politics that if you're this way or that way, I don't talk to you. That's ridiculous. I just told your parents, when the people fear the government, we have tyranny. But when the government fears people, we have democracy. And you've learned that all week long because that's what it is. In 1776, we had a charter that stated that the majority wins in this country. In that charter, it did not say, if you get beat, you take your ball and go home. If you don't like something, change it. Work to change it. Get better. Improve. Do this. Go back to what I said. Make mistakes. We're making mistakes so much right now that it just drives me nuts. And I think it all comes back to what we just talked about. Work your ass off. Pay attention. Fall in love. All of those things come by and be engaged on a daily basis. And none of that, not one thing that I just said is political. It's just something that you can get up every single day and do on your own to make a change. When I was a head coach at Oral Roberts, we had an evangelist come in, and his name was Creflo Dollar. And he said, his whole sermon was based on this: make a mark they can't erase. And that's all I'm asking you to do. Because you know what? I'm going to retire. When I retire, first of all, I'm going to try not to retire. You guys don't know my wife. There's no way in hell I want to go home. But anyway, I can't retire. I couldn't spend 24/7 with that lady every day. There's just no way. And your mom and dad, they're laughing right now. Well, your dad's not laughing. Your mom is. But they understand. They relate. I don't want to retire. Like I said, I'm not working. I just have a job. I have a job. I get a chance to be around young people every single day. I get a chance to be an impact, make an impact, do this, do that. I got an email, because he's out of state, from a kid last week that said, Coach, my sons and I just went to a restaurant, and I gave them the speech on how we make sure we leave it better than we found it. And I can't tell you what that meant to me. When Father's Day comes up, I'm going to get all these emails or these Facebook messages, whatever they call them, and all these players are going to tell me they love them, and it's going to make my day every single day. So I challenge you. I challenge you to honor that shirt that you've worn all week. I challenge you to go back and change your school system, whether it's through student council, whether it's just being senior leadership, whatever. I don't care, but I do care that you make an impact and you change it. I don't care what kind of what accomplishments are made, whether it's through band or vocal or athletics, but the biggest accomplishment that you can make at your high school next year is that everybody from grades 1 through 12 are all on the same page, and everybody's being kind to everybody, and everybody's moving forward. I've had a first thought for the day, and even not as a head coach, I've always asked the head coach for this to be the thought for the day, and I've got a former player sitting over there right now that will testify this. A young man played for me named Kevin Blake. And the first thought for the day for Kevin Blake when I was a basketball coach, your performance is a reflection of your attitude. And I believe that. Please honor that flag, honor our country, and honor our state, and honor your community. Boy Staters, I love you. Thank you.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think maybe Governor Hinson here needs to be the keynote speaker every graduation from Boy State, yeah? What do you say? Should we lock it in right now, next 20 years, right here at RSU? Mark? Huh? Yeah.
I just can't wear a red shirt.
Hey, we are...
First of all, you guys need to honor this guy because he was here when I was here.
Going on 50-plus years. But, Coach, we greatly appreciate it. We all love to see somebody who was sitting out there not so long ago do the kinds of things that you've done with your life. You've got passion, you've got grit, you pay it forward. That message was about as spot on as we could get. I think Jared may have coached you well, or you're just that good. Either way, we'd love to see you back. But before you go, it pains me deeply to think that we've got a governor of Boy State that's walking around in a tattered Boy State shirt. We can't have that. We just can't have that. So when you come to Boy State, in whatever capacity, you don't leave empty-handed. So I got a couple of things for you. First and foremost, is kind of a wink, wink, nod, nod. I want to give you our staff pin. We can put you. We got blue shirts. We got other color shirts. But I'm going to make you an honorary staff member this year. RSU Boy State, first year together. Please accept that.
Thank you.
We also have our commemorative coin that we make. This has the iconic Gold Dome building out there, Oklahoma Military Academy. First year of Boy State on the Hill. I'd like you to take that.
Thank you.
And because of all the wonderful things you've done, and I think OSU is still accredited, right? I never know. But, yeah, you've done excellent. You've done excellent as the governor of Boy State. You've done excellent here, so taking it all in good spirit. The director's coin for excellence, I would be greatly appreciated if you would take that as well, sir. And we got you a Boy State shirt.
Oh,
We've got you our collared shirt, and we got you a bag to keep it in.
Awesome.
Coach, thanks so much. Let's give him a round of applause.